Greetings, YouTube. As most people who are aware on any level at all realize, America's debt is immense. Trillions of dollars. And budget announcements are coming up shortly, so everyone is abuzz talking about how they would like to have the debt lowered, how they would go about achieving this. Many liberal progressives are all for increasing taxes on really wealthy people and businesses and such. Conservatives are all about slashing things. Now, the reality is if we raise taxes on every single thing the liberal progressives want to, we wouldn't save enough money. And if conservatives slashed every single thing they wanted to slash, we wouldn't raise enough money. We wouldn't save enough money. We need to do a mix of both. There's nothing we can do about this. That's the reality. Since the era of Reagan, conservatives have spent us into a hole that is immeasurably deep. All right? So the latest conservative efforts to put forth debt reduction involves cutting a lot of funds out of programs. And it should come surprise to pretty much no one that the programs that they want to cut are programs that are going to, or normally would benefit, the poor and middle class. Programs that would never, ever have any effect on the lives of Americans' wealthiest people, the top 2%. Programs that would benefit them are not even close to the chopping blocks. For example, huge numbers of tax breaks which they don't need nor deserve. Because trickle-down economics doesn't work, folks. Didn't work 30 years ago, doesn't work now. And the list of the different programs that the conservatives want to cut is lengthy. Interestingly, I believe that the number of programs they're looking at compromise only 10% of Americans' actual budget, and even only a portion of that 10%. So we're not really talking about the big things that need to be looked at, just a small segment of them. But it's grabbing a lot of headlines. And one of these programs is a program that benefits Americans through subsidies for people who are low income who need help with heating, to get oil and natural gas and propane so that they can heat their homes. Now again, these are programs that are only going to benefit the poor. And I believe that the current policy that they're putting forth is to take this traditional liberal progressive program and cut it in half. That's a significant cut. Of course, conservatives are all over this. They like this idea because the people that are in control of conservative politicians, the 2% of the wealthiest Americans, never have to concern themselves with being warm. But it got me thinking. Say you're a poor family living in Chicago or Buffalo, New York, or Bangor, Maine. Places that are traditionally very, very cold. What do you do if a program that you counted on, say, last year isn't available this year? No high horse here. I got no answer. I want to know, what do the families in these three cities I just mentioned do when they suddenly find themselves in a situation where they have no money to heat their homes? Now, you notice me all the time wearing a big comfy sweater. It is nice and big and comfy. And under it, I have a white thermal top. Duofold, I believe is the brand name. It's artificial, really quite warm. Keeps the wool off my skin because I can't stand the touch of wool on my skin. Very comfortable, very warm, good layering system. You also often see me wearing hats. Now, I don't wear these things as fashion statements. I wear them because my apartment is cold. I have one heat source, and that's in the living room. You might hear in the background right now a very faint hum. That hum is a small fan that blows hot air from the living room, the only room that actually gets heat, into the kitchen and indirectly into the office. At the moment, it's 64 degrees in my office. That's warm for my office, and I will be turning that fan and heater off momentarily. I don't normally run it this late in the day, but it's Friday, it's my day off, and I got home late. So for me, staying warm is a lot of the times what I have on. But that only goes so far. You can only reduce your heat in your apartment to a certain point when you begin to endanger your apartment's well-being, your home's well-being, as far as pipes are concerned, things like that. You can't really go below 40 degrees. And take my word for it, 40 degrees is very cold when you're living in that all the time. I know I've woken up and it's only been 53 or 54 degrees in here, and that's chilly. I don't want to imagine what it's be like if I'd woken up and it was 40 degrees. But I can afford my heat. I only run it for a few hours in the morning and a few hours in the evening just to bring it up high enough so it's comfortable for the rest of the time. So I can get by in nothing but a sweater and a hat. But what if I couldn't afford that? What if I needed assistance? What if I were laid off? My position was no longer in existence, which is affecting over 10 million Americans. Almost 14 million Americans, I think. What do? Explain it to me, conservatives out there. The families I talked about, the ones in Chicago and Buffalo and Bangor, what do you tell them? What suggestions do you make when they're looking at a long, cold winter in a home with no heat and with children there? How do you explain to a 6-year-old that they don't get heat? What do you tell them?